hello. Look at this. I'm going with, oh, Jesus Christ almighty. What's going on here? Hang on a second. Okay, how's that gonna work? Is that gonna work? Can you see my bottles here? Yeah, sort of. It'll do. Oh, got a rock in my, oh, yeah, we're rolling. Have a rock right on my ass. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Okay, that should do. That should do it. Hello, hello. Welcome to Water Walk number God only knows. Oh, yeah. So today, I usually wear a hat because, like, people wear head coverings for a number of reasons, and most coverings are practical, right? Like, occasionally you'll see people completely covered, just their eyes showing, like a Thai burqa. Only it doesn't look like that. But it's completely practical, right? Working outside and stuff. But definitely wearing hats and long sleeves is smart because insects come down off the trees and leeches. Not that I see many leeches here. Actually, I don't see hardly any, but that's beside the point. But you know, the other insects fall down, jump down. I don't know, maybe a snake might jump down on you. That's never happened to me. So I don't know if that's a real thing or not. Anyway, so today I'm going with the, I have the hat, but today I went, oh wow, the gray is really showing today. So I'm going with the Emmylou Harris look, which I really love, right? I love her gray hair. Oh, okay. Water's running a little slowly. I'll just let that go. Actually, yeah, so we're going with the Emmylou Harris style. If you know her, it's kind of a country singer, somewhat alternative, I guess. Anyway, wonderful singer. Okay, so here I am, water walk. Haven't had one in a while. It's going to be a little intermittent because my mom's moving in the city, so I'll be down there for a little bit more days and things. And I'll be back, and anyway, whatever. I go for water walks when I need water, essentially. If that's not already obvious. Anyway, beautiful day. September's been freakishly beautiful. Not a lot of rain, a bit here and there. Usually, in my experience, September is like one of the two rainy months, right? So August and September, in my experience, has been crazy raining. And then it starts to calm down in October. September's been spectacular this year. For what it's worth, I don't know what that means. You never know, right? It's weather, right? You never know. You never know in the bigger picture what that means. I guess we'll find out in due time. Yeah. So anyway, I'm appreciating it because, you know, it's other than August, which was brutal in a way. I got, you know, I go once a week into the city to do kendo and hang out with my mom. And man, I got caught in the rain on my bike, like, way more times than ever. It's just the character of the rain was different, it seems to me, this year. It seemed more, like, longer. But less of the really torrential downpours. Like, in the past, I mean, we always get the sort of, you know, the longer rains, but generally speaking, you get these incredible rainfalls just crashing down, and the stream rises. Like, the stream has never gone as high as it did, say, last year. But because the rains are more constant, yet it's easier to get caught up in it. So I got caught up in it doing some water walks a few times, and yeah, anyway, fine, made it through. Touch wood. Another rainy season, maybe. Might not be over. Anyway, so what did I want to... Greta Thunberg has been one of my themes. That's how you say her name now. Greta Thunberg. I finally figured it out. But I always want to say it like I'm Italian. Greta Thunberg. Come stai. Anyway, so of course she's been in the news a lot, and Anyway, I had this thought coming up. I said, okay, I'm going to do one more short commentary on the Greta Thunberg phenomenon. Just to be clear, it's only partially about the girl herself. She's just doing what what she feels moved to do, that's great. But the phenomenon around it is awfully strange to me. I have some friends that look at this and go, this is child abuse. Sorry, but it's out and out child abuse. Anyway, I totally see their point. Anyway, but I don't know what to say about that. Could be. Anyway, but what I wanted to say is I just want to make this my last one. And about the phenomenon. And I've written a couple times on comments, and I said, look, enough is enough, okay? In my humble opinion. It's time, like if I was her mom after that UN speech, which everyone seemed so moved by, and like I thought her words were great. I thought, yep, okay, I agree. But as soon as she said, you've stolen my dreams in childhood, I just started laughing, right? Because, okay, come on, this is on the edge of being ridiculous now, right? And it's completely opening her up to ridicule, right? Because we all know about her childhood. We know about her difficulties in her childhood and whatnot, right? And it's more than just the freaking climate, I would say. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. That's too personal. But in my opinion, I think that was just edging over her peak, right? I would say that's on the downswing, but some people might look at it as being her reaching her peak, you know. Maybe that's true, maybe it is, I don't know. To me it felt weird. I don't know what to put my finger on it. I felt like it was acting, but I don't know, maybe not. Anyway, but if I thought, my main thought was after watching that, like, and I was like chuckling, right? I was like, my main thought was like, if I was her mom, I would go, okay, kid, enough's enough. You've made your strong points, and maybe even made a mark, made a difference even. Maybe. We don't know, right? Everyone thinks she's like some hero, and maybe she is. But we don't know, and we won't know for a while, I'd say. But if I was her mom, I'd say, okay, that's enough. We're going back home. We're going to try and get you a normal life for a while, if we can. And no more public speeches for at least half a year. That's what I would do. Because I think she do what she wants. She's 16, right? She can do whatever she wants. So I'm not saying that. I just think it's not going to end well, right? And it feels like being used and stuff. But anyway, that was my main thought. Yeah, if I was your mom, I'd say, okay, we're going home now. All the media can screw off. Right, so there's that. And a couple other things. Of course, I'm not a cynical person, right? Like, every day's so beautiful here. And my whole life is just like, oh, so beautiful. Like, look where I live, right? But I certainly have a dark side and a cynical side too, right? So, and it's not really cynicism. It's more like, yeah, we've seen this before. That it's just show. All the protests and stuff. Is it real? I would say no. And I thought the same thing about the Dakota Access Pipeline protests. Like, for the people sort of coming in for the protests, I thought, oh, you don't even know what you're asking for here. For sure, the people of that land and supporting them, like, with them 100%. And it's a tragedy that it went where it went. And, you know, as much as people love Obama, he did nothing. He did the opposite of nothing. It was terrible. Anyway, so we're not talking about Dapo here. Look, I filled my water bottles already. How much? 9 minutes. Yeah, 9 minutes, 20 seconds. That's about how long it takes at the current rate of flow. However, sometimes it just feels like, you know that show, The Kardashians? I've never actually seen it, but everyone talks about it, right? It's like all show, there's no substance to it. So that's the feeling I get with the protests, right? And I made one comment somewhere, said, oh, this climate protest is going to be the same as those stupid pussy hat protests. It's meaningless. Like, really? Pussy hat? If Clinton had got in, would you be like, putting on a war criminal hat and doing the same protest? Probably not. Anyway, so I'm meandering too much as usual. So, yeah, so that's what I think. I think, this is meaningless. None of these people at the protest. There'll be some that have willing to change their own lives, right? But most people will not change their life at all, right? At all. That we want climate justice. Look, no, you don't. You don't. Like, that might mean you never get to go on a transportation other than your own feet or horse for your rest of your life. That could mean you never get to turn on the tap and have clean water coming out while being surrounded by polluted water, right? So there's all these layers. So, yeah, I don't know what to say. It just seems whatever. But I mean, here's the flip side. People say, oh, well, it's not about the individual, it's about the corporation and the governments. No question. That's a huge aspect of it. But you are the corporations and the governments. Even if it's really indirectly, right? The whole structure if you live in a modern country with a lot of industrial infrastructure, which is most people in the world, even here, right? In Thailand, then, yeah, no, you're completely in it. Completely in it. There's no getting out of that, right? Oh, there's getting out of it, but not with actual radical change. And people say, I want radical change, but you actually don't. You just want it the same, right? You want to have everything the same. Get away with it. Anyway, so see, the hypocrisy just is killing. And the thing is, I'm not trying to be... See, the danger here is being like some virtual signaling twat, right? And I'm aware of the risk of that. I don't know. Shit, where do you go from that, right? How do you do it? Okay, a friend of mine, I won't name him because I don't want anyone to go after him. He's a really nice guy, smart. He made a commentary about... It was a Facebook, and to be fair, he was countered a bit, but no one really was being nasty to him. But he made this point, like, in Canada, they've had these... After the New York protests, a week later or something, they had protests in, I think, Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal. Maybe there's other cities too, I don't know. But those are three main. And the big one was Montreal, right? It was 100,000 million, I don't know what it was. But there was also one in Toronto that was much smaller. So let's say the Montreal was 100,000, the Toronto one was 10,000. And his point was, look, a lot of people from Toronto traveled to Montreal to go to that protest. And he's saying, that is a perfect example of why the ridiculousness... I can't remember what he said, but I'm paraphrasing and interpreting, but how we're so screwed, right? Because the people traveling from Toronto to Montreal apparently aren't even aware of the unbelievable irony of their actions, right? And they're going to Montreal because that was Greta was there. They just wanted to be near the blonde Kardashian. That's the danger I see. Is it becoming just a joke, right? That's why I would say go home. From here on, it's just going to get worse and worse, and meaningless and more meaningless, I think. Maybe I'm wrong, and that's great if I'm wrong. I hope so. Maybe it'll create a real sea change in people's perspective of their place on the planet. Wouldn't that be great? I'd love that. I doubt it, but you just never know, right? But given that as an example, you're like, yeah, I don't think so. No. Anyway, is that enough of that? Is this the end of my going on about it? I don't know. Oh, my coat got wet. That's a disaster. Nope, there's gunk in that. Here, sláinte. Sláinte away. Yeah. Water. The water. I always go to that, eh? I always go to... Anyway. I guess I can't help myself. Like a lot of people in Canada talk about the water problems on reserves and stuff. For good reason. Right? There's some bad situations everywhere, from just boil water, which I've said before is it's not perfect, but it's better than nothing, and to actual polluted water like grassy narrows and stuff, right? Terribly from like forestry, pulp and paper, mining, etc. But I always go to look, it's great to protest or to comment that so many reserves don't have adequate drinking water. But they're talking about drinking water of the tap, just to be clear here. But I always say, look, you don't have it either, right? It's always people in Toronto or wherever, mostly, complaining about it. It's like, you don't have drinking water. You think you do, right? But you live on Lake Ontario, for God's sakes. Like, if you don't have water out of your tap, you have to walk down Lake Ontario, grab your water. Boiling's not going to help you on that one. No way. Anyway, I have a point, and I'm trying to get to it. So anyway, like that, I guess I'm trying to, in my head I've got the virtue signaling danger. Because it's be so easy for me to say, well, I walked 4 kilometers almost for my water. What do you do? Asshole. Can't do that. That's ridiculous. But I do. That's what I walk, right? But to be clear, okay, I'm going to tell you the situation of the water here, okay? It's a very good situation, actually. There's not ever really a shortage of water here. The stream that runs through the village, it's quite long, the village, right? It's very narrow, tiny, hollow, really, like a valley that goes up, and this village really stretches over a couple of kilometers. Or more, even. Yeah, more than... Yeah, definitely, yeah. Anyway, so... yeah, so for me, I started coming up here for a couple of reasons, which I won't go into right now. But if you're interested, you could ask me how I got to know about this spot, which some people told me. Anyway, so I do it as a kind of meditation, right? It gets me in the woods no matter what, right? Because you gotta have water to drink. And also it's a meditation on water and the essential aspect of it. And you see that meme on Facebook where it goes, for those that carry their water, every drop is precious. And it is true, right? Yeah. So, but the situation is I don't have to do this, right? There's water coming out of my tap, and the water coming into the houses, and there's a bunch of different sections of the village, right? So it's not one source. So this source here goes into some tanks down here, and that goes into my house, right? As well as the village up from me, part of the village up from me. And that's all water from here. It's the same water that I'm getting here, right? The only difference is that it's traveling through a number of kilometers of PVC pipe. So I in my head, I'm thinking, I don't want that. But I do some, and also I'm like the furthest one away from this source, right? So it's going through more and more. And Gung said, I don't know about drinking the water here. It's a little bit going through a lot of, like maybe some bacteria can build up. So I've never really drank it from the tap. I have if you boil it, it's no problem. So I boil it for tea and things, you know. But like the people just down from me, down like where I joined the trail here, there's some houses just there and a little bit further down and piece of town. They all drink it from the tap, right? They just drink it from here. So that's great. And if that's not the situation, you don't feel comfortable with that, there's a place up in the main part of the village that makes bottled water, right? And it's real bottled water, right? It's not like, oh, recycled. It's actually, they reuse the bottles, like over and over and over and over again, right? And they're plastic, of course. But that water is also from here. Although the one there, they get the water from the village that's up higher from here, right? So there's, again, streams coming off the mountain all over the place, and they try to collect it. So, yeah. So that's also this water. It's just that it's also purified, right? And I think they might put a bit of chlorine in it and stuff. And so a lot of people drink that water. And I did when I first got here. But one batch was just really chlorinated. I couldn't really drink it. And I guess that's when I started coming here, because I took a couple bottles and I just took it back to them. I said it's something too strong, and then some people showed me. Okay, now I am telling you the story of the water. So we were walking up to sweep, the first year I was sweeping the ridge up there, we were walking by and someone showed me and turned it on and said, you can drink this. You know, showing. And that's why I know about this, right? And the actual spring, I've said this on other videos, but the actual spring is just right here, right? And what they've done is it's coming out of the side of the hill, and they've made like a concrete pool, I guess. A concrete little pond about this big. And then there's a pipe out of it, so the pond fills up a little bit, like it's this deep, and then it just drains in through these pipes, and that's happening all over the place. Works great. But I can go there. Like if the flow's been so low it's hardly coming out of here, then I'll go up there and scoop it out of the pool, right? But I haven't done that in a while. I haven't had to. But I don't want to do that because it disturbs it, like there's silt and stuff. And you don't want to do that because it makes the water down the line dirty, silty. Although that fits into you have to eat a peck of dirt before you die thing. Anyway, that's beside the point. So, so the water here, the drinking water, and it's cheap, right? It's like, I don't know, 20 baht for 20 liters. The 20 bahts maybe in Canadian dollars, like $1 for 20 liters. Very economical. Everyone can afford it. It's great. So that's another option, right? So there's other options. I don't have to do this, but I like doing it. So that's why I can't virtue signal on it, because it's actually just my choice, right? Anyway, that's the story of the water. And then from there it became these videos that I do, right? So I just go on about whatever, right? So, yeah, so I don't know. I guess I don't have much else to say. That's the scoop about hiking to water. But I really love it. I love the carrying. It's good exercise. It gets me out. It's great when I'm making guitars because I get so absorbed that I kind of, like a week will go by and went, oh, I didn't go hiking. Shoot. But it makes me go because, I got to get water. And now it's a habit, or it's a blessed ritual, as my friend David would say. Yeah. It's a way to check in with what's going on in the forest. Yeah. And it's a thing too for the people that live around me. They go, oh, by ao Nam Dum, right? Yep, by ao Nam Dum. Go want drinking water. Yes, by ao, go want water drink. By ao Nam Dum. It's great. Anyway, I guess that's about it. I did 24 minutes. That's almost long enough. Maybe I'll do a little bit at the open area down there. I don't know. Anyway, so I did my rant on, hopefully the last bloody rant I do on the GT phenomenon. And I hope everyone's doing great. And if I don't check in again, à la prochaine. Hope everyone's fine. I guess get out in nature if you can is my advice. That's my only advice. Okay, but I know a lot of people do. A lot of my friends love nature too, so I'm not saying that, you know. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Hello, back. I did come back. I didn't desert you. Look, this was a bit of a surprise. They've cut a bunch of, mostly banana trees and some bamboo, but some other trees too. They've opened this up a bit. Just a little bit. And I'm wondering, whenever I see that, I go, hang on. Yeah, whenever I see that, I go, I wonder what they're up to. Because I never really quite know. Anyway, so I'm going to walk along here because it's this beautiful open bit. Beautiful open bit. Whoop, 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 whoop. Ugh. I'm a little bit under today, physically. It's interesting observing personal observations. Because, you know, like the rest of us, I'm getting older bit by bit. And I'm almost 62 now. And what I find, I'm pretty strong. And the thing is, I've been very physical most of my whole life, right? Like camping, hiking, all that stuff, as well as kendo and, you know, whatever. Oh, it's so beautiful, right? Look at that. Yeah, and what I still have strength. I'm not, I think. But what I find is much more fluctuating, right? So I do take it a bit more day by day, right? And basically what it means is each day that comes, I have to sort of accept it for what it is, right? So it's like, I don't feel quite as strong today, or my energy's low. It's just a wider range of what's the word? A wider range of being, I guess. And that's fine. Just got to pay attention to where you are at any given moment, I guess. That's what I'm working on. Yeah. Well, I guess it touches into, you have to be careful with ego with that, right? I remember when I first got here and I first found out about Lama Kendo, and my first practice there, and Yamada Sensei was there. Oh, one of the best. I watched him teach. I was just like, oh my God. I'd like to watch him teach for years. It was just really amazing. Anyway, but of course I'm like, oh yeah, okay. It had been a while since I practiced, a year probably. And I just went, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, oh, that was a mistake. And Yamada Sensei said, oh, you need to be careful here because the kids are looking at you because you're an adult. And, you know, I was doing this kirikaishi motion, which unless you play kendo, you don't know what it is. And it was crap. It was small. It was too fast. It was, like I think back and go, oh, that was dumb. Anyway, but I learned, right? So that was a good moment of understanding ego, right? Yeah. Not always so easy to negotiate, I guess. But anyway, somehow that's what I want to talk about, is the fluctuation of getting older, I guess. I suppose when I'm in my 70s, it'll be more so. I'll keep trying though, never give up, never surrender. Okay, anyway, this is for sure, probably, the end of this video. Hope everyone's doing great. And à la prochaine, and ciao!